As soon as Mary saw the empty tomb, what did she do? She ran to tell her friends. She ran to tell the other followers of Jesus what had happened. Now, she wasn't telling them good news. She thought she was telling them horrible news, that Jesus' body was stolen. So what did she do? She took her grief, her sorrow, and she went and shared it with her Christian family. That's the first thing that we should do. Whenever you experience grief and sorrow, other than pray, take your burdens and give them to God, is you should take them and give them to other Christian brothers and sisters. Let them share that burden with you. And that's exactly the opposite of what many of us do, myself included. I think part of it is pride. I don't like to see people that I'm weak and that I'm suffering and that the loss of something in my life is really getting me down. I want people to think that I'm always up and I'm always joyful, because that's what a good Christian does, right? You're always smiling and saying, "Rejoice in the Lord, God is good." Us Christians, we never struggle with sadness and sorrow and depression. That's just not true. And so we hold it in instead of sharing it. Galatians 6:2 is an important verse. It says, "Carry one another's burdens." This is speaking to Christians in the context of a church. "Carry one another's burdens. In this way you will fulfill the law of Christ." Did you know that a burden is something that you cannot carry alone? That's what a burden is. It's something that's so heavy that you can't do it by yourself. It's going to crush you if you try to carry this and hold up this burden by yourself. It will completely crush you. What should we do whenever we see others facing a burden? Well, we should go and help them. That's what it says. Carry one another's burdens. Well, what should we do whenever we're carrying a burden? We should go and tell others, "Would you please help me carry this burden?" We should take our burden and share it with others. We're not made to carry our burdens by ourselves. Did you know some people say, God will never give you more than you can handle? But that's simply not biblical. If you look at this verse, it says, "Carry one another's burdens." Why is that? It's because God at times gives you burdens that you cannot handle on your own. With others, yes. With your church family, holding up your arms, supporting you, yes. But God is going to let you experience things that you simply cannot handle healthily on your own. You've got to let others help you carry those burdens. Where do we find these kinds of friends? Well, we find them in the church. This is what the church is built for. Of course, for the propagation of the gospel of Jesus Christ, but also so that we can care for one another. I like to tell people at Church Acadiana, the reason why church is so important is because you need it and you are needed. You need it and you are needed. There are times in your life whenever you're going to be suffering from sorrow and grief and burdens that are too heavy for you to bear, and so you're going to need your church family. But then there's going to be times when you're doing okay, but there are going to be others in the church that are in that same situation, and they need you. It says in 1 Thessalonians 5:14, "Comfort the discouraged." Comfort the discouraged. This is specifically, again, speaking to Christians in the context of a Christian community. Comfort those in your church family who are discouraged. And there's always going to be somebody in the church who's discouraged. This is one of the reasons why in our church we have a ministry called home groups. During the week, whenever you can get in a small group Bible study, usually meeting in somebody's house, that's what we call them, a home group. And the purpose of that is so that you can build deep relationships that will already be in place whenever you begin to experience a burden, whenever you begin to experience sorrow and grief, so that you'll already have a group of Christian friends that you're close to that can surround you when you begin to go through that difficult time. As strong as Patrick Mahomes is in the NFL, as talented as he is, can you imagine if he tried to go out there and play 1 on 11? Who's he going to hand the ball off to? Who's he going to pass to? Who's going to block for him? He just can't do it. He would get crushed. We're not made to do life alone. Don't carry your sorrow alone. Call somebody, take somebody out to coffee and just tell them, I just need to share my heart. I need you to pray for me. I need some advice. Sometimes you just need somebody to talk to.